So who are you?
I'm Jeff Marshall. I'm the CEO of Brightstorm.
Yeah. And what is Brightstorm?
Brightstorm is the best place on the internet for high school kids to learn what they need to learn in order to do well on their high school courses and on tests like the SAT.
And that's real important because I have a high school kid.
Oh, you do?
15-year-old.
Really?
Yeah.
Ah, 15. What math is it? He or she?
He.
What math is he taking?
He's in advanced algebra or trigonometry this semester. I had to think about.
Yeah. So one of the things that he can do is he can come to Brightstorm. He can look at the different teachers we have who teach things that are related to trigonometry and advanced algebra. And then after he's sampled each one of their courses, he can make a decision about which one is best for him. He can purchase our Algebra 2 course, for instance, for $49, have access to it for 12 months, and he can drop into that course and get help whenever he needs, whenever he's struggling on a particular Algebra 2 concept. We'll have a great teacher there on video that he's chosen in order to explain to him the key concepts of Algebra 2.
Very cool. Now, part of I remember back to my SAT score, and I did pretty well. Actually, a fun little story. My counselor at Prospect High School in Silicon Valley, I was getting D's and C's,
Yeah.
and I got third highest grade or score
on the SAT,
on the SAT
oh,
in the high school. And they go, and he said, "What the heck? Why did you score so well when you're so bad in class?" Because I hated class.
What was your answer? Why did you score so well?
Because I'm curious about the world, and I would, ask people. I got a tour of Apple Computer when they were one building and stuff like that. I would ask people what they did and how things work. You know, and a lot of that. The SAT is how things work, how radio works or something like that. It's also how to take a test. Right?
Yeah.
And I read a big SAT book on how to take the SAT, and that really helped me because they explained how the test works, and if you don't know an answer, what to do, because there's actually a strategy that you have.
Oh, there's a whole set of strategies, and that's one of the great things is that our teachers teach you two things when they're teaching about the SAT or the advanced placement exams that we have that are up there too, which is one, what is the material that you need to remember in order to do well, but two, how do you take a test and do really well? And there are certain techniques that if you don't learn those techniques, you've disadvantaged yourself vis-a-vis all of the other students who are taking this test and have made themselves knowledgeable about great test-taking techniques. So we teach those things as well.
Yeah, it really does help you, and it helps you mentally get through the test, because even if you hit a question you don't know sort of how to guess at it, or even if you can eliminate one of the answers, it improves your, even if you're going to just pick between the three, it improves your chances by a quarter, right?
That's right, exactly. So if you can, depending on the test, if you can eliminate a certain number of answers, the best thing to do at that point might be to guess, and that's one of the things that our teachers talk about.
Very cool. So how did you get into this?
Well, 15 years ago, I was a teacher in the public schools. I taught math and English and Spanish and a number of other electives. And I left teaching to go to business school. And that was a real change for me. And I've been in the business world ever since, which was since the mid-90s, mostly in Silicon Valley startups. But I always had in the back of my mind that I wanted to somehow benefit all of those kids who are like my students that I had when I was a teacher in the early 90s. And so I developed the Brightstorm idea with my co-founders about taking advantage of the fact that kids really like to learn using web videos, and that we could find the best of the best teachers out there to make great videos and really help kids out there who really need to learn.
Yeah, and these are professional videos with 2 cameras probably, and in fact we're sitting here in one of the studios so you can get a sense of the kinds of props you use during your
exactly.
class.
Yeah, we most of our courses are 2 camera shoots, so one of the things that we want to do is retain the students' concentration and attention to our courses.
Yep.
We know we have to make it exciting to compete with the videos that are out there today.
Yeah.
So
mine are not going to compete for exciting.
No, that's all right. And the other thing though is that what we want to be is we want to be the best learning on the web.
Yeah.
And to be the best learning, we don't necessarily
don't have cell phones going off in the middle of an interview, that's for sure. Okay.
So one of the things that we want to do is be the best learning that's on the web. And if you're going to be that, you need to not just have the best teachers, the best curriculum, but you really need to communicate that you're really good by having high quality videos. And so what we didn't want was the grainy YouTube video up there that people have to search around to find for way too long. What we wanted was something that's clearly high quality that they can come to our site, easily find, and meet their learning need right away.
Yeah. How long are the videos on average?
Well, the course that you buy for $49 for 12 months is about a 4 to 5 hour experience, and then each one of those is divided up into 15-minute episodes. And so we wanted a short chunk that the teenager today would be able to have the attention span to digest.
Yeah.
And so what we do is we've divided each subject matter into those little chunks that we think that people would need help on. They can find them easily on our site once they've purchased the course, and then go ahead and get that specific piece of learning that they need right then.
Yeah. Now the SAT, you take it in the junior year, right?
You can take it anytime you want.
Yeah.
Most students take it in the junior year or the beginning of their senior year. Some students take it once in their junior year and then try to retake it later, probably in their senior year, in order to improve their score.
Okay.
So that's so we're targeting those juniors and seniors who are ready to go ahead and take that exam, but they need the right kind of affordable preparation from a great teacher to help them get ready.
Now, when should you start watching or participating with your course? If you're going to prepare, if you're going to take it at in May of your junior year, when should you start thinking about taking a course and studying up for the SAT?
Most kids prepare about 2 months or 3 months beforehand if they're wanting to really put in the time. Some try to cram it into a smaller amount of time. So we recommend that people about 2 or 3 months out go ahead and purchase the course. We have on our site training plans that you can use in order to plan your time well. When do you want to take a practice test? When do you want to watch which videos? We have diagnostic tests on our site so that you can understand, if you have limited time, where should you be spending that time?
Yeah. Who else, is anybody else, any of your competitors using videos in the way you're using them?
There's a few who have put together some videos that aren't as high quality, but I think we're really the first mover in this space.
Interesting. And what are you hearing from the kids? What kind of results are you seeing? And does it really help the test scores? Have you been able to survey that, or have an A/B test, of a group that didn't take your help and a group who did? And
yeah, we haven't got quite as sophisticated as that. I mean, we only launched just in late October.
Okay.
But so most of the feedback that we've got has been anecdotal. And what we've heard from kids is, one, they really like the teachers, they really like watching video. I heard a funny story from one of our teachers who actually used his own video in his classroom to teach Algebra 2. This was Josh Thurby, one of our Algebra 2 teachers. And he said, the funny thing was, when I lecture to my class and try to explain these things, I can't get any of their attention. All I have to do is put up the video, though, and everybody's mesmerized by the video, and it's still just me there teaching. And so what I think we've hit upon is a really special fit with the way teenagers these days want to learn, which is online with video, and they'll go ahead and then spend the time and get the and put their attention to this.
Yeah.
So we're really hoping that what we can do, because we kind of fit their needs, they'll be able to concentrate more, learn more, and do better.
Yeah. And you're making your money completely off the sales of the package, the $49?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so how are you funded?
We are funded by venture capital. We have a Silicon Valley venture capitalist who has put in a Series A amount of $6 million last spring.
Wow.
And so that will last us into 2010, and at which point we'll be going for our next round of investment and doing the whole Silicon Valley startup thing, helping people to learn.
Interesting. Or you're going to live off the revenues you're going to make this year, right? Because this is a tough year to get venture.
Yeah, well, you're hitting on one of the things that occupies our mind a lot. We know that we have a good solution here, and the key thing for us to do is to focus on the right pieces of the puzzle, build a great company that really serves customers, and then we'll be able to be successful even through a downturn.
Yeah. Are you competing with all the books that are out? Because I remember even when I took it, 25 years ago, or 30 years ago. I'm getting old now.
Yeah, me too.
There was like hundreds of books on that. You go to the bookstore and there's like a whole section just of SAT books. Are you competing with is that who you see as your main competitor? Is the book industry, or?
Well, there's lots of options that kids and their parents have out there, from the books that you just described to an in-person class that you can take at a tutoring center to one-on-one tutoring. And I suppose we compete with all of those things, but when you're in a new market where technology is being added to the mix, one of the things that you find is that you're disrupting a market, but you're really growing the market as well. So we think that lots of our students who are studying, for instance, for the SAT will buy an SAT book and they'll buy Brightstorm. And they won't say that there's really a choice one between the other. And the interaction between their usage of a book and the usage of Brightstorm could be a really interesting learning experience for them that will help them to do even better than before this technology was available.
Yeah. Do you have any forums for students who've taken the test to pass along? Oh, that teacher was really awesome because he helped me with 5 of the questions on there, and you should be also aware of the 6th question I hit, or something like that. Or do you see kids even caring about that? Passing along knowledge about the test, or?
Well, one of the interesting things that we theorize is that learning is a social activity in addition to being just a solo activity between one person and a teacher. And what we've done so far is we've built areas where learners can post comments and answer each other's questions as they're experiencing our courses. And we've seen students start to utilize that functionality to help one another. In the future, we think that the learning experience that somebody used to have, where they might have been isolated with one of the books that you mentioned, trying to do better on this test all by themselves, will fade, and what will emerge is a place where people can actually help one another out, and Brightstorm definitely wants to be a part of that trend.
Yeah. Are you doing anything with Facebook or Myspace? Because I know my son says everybody in his high school is on Myspace, and a few are on Facebook right now, and I'm sure that'll change a little bit.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Clearly a lot of kids are on these social networks. Are you going to build a widget or some way to talk to that crowd and build a brand there, or something? Tell me what you're thinking there.
Yeah, well, right now we advertise on many social networks, including the ones that you just described. Okay. But the future of learning is probably going to have something to do with the future of how young people network socially. And so Brightstorm's mission is to meet the learner where they're at. Yep. Right now we think that has a lot to do with web-based video. It has some to do with social networking too, and you'll probably see Brightstorm moving into those kinds of strategies pretty soon.
Very cool. Anything else you want me to know about Brightstorm, or tell my son, or other high school kids who are considering different options out there to learn about the SAT?
Well, come take a look at our site. It's www.brightstorm.com. That's BRIGHTSTORM. And you can sample many different teachers' courses, and you'll get a real idea what it's like. We think that most teens are going to say, this is a really effective way for me to learn. Right now, too, we have a promotion around an SAT package that we have, where you get all 3 of our most popular SAT teachers together in one package for a discounted price. There's also a bunch of other services around the SAT there, including the diagnostic test, some study flashcards, and other things like that. So come play around on the site.
Can you watch the video on the iPhone, by the way? Because I'm sure a lot of people are riding buses or subways home from school and want to be able to just watch the video on their iPhone or their iTouch or something like that.
Yeah, not yet, but part of the future strategy. Again, we want to meet the learner where they're going to be, and things like iPhone and iPhone application penetration is starting to get high enough that we'll really want to consider that.
Okay, cool. And what does it look like when I sit down? I just choose, pay my $49, and then I start. Tell me a little bit about what it looks like, because we might get a demo. I'm not sure if we're going to get a demo on this video.
So when you come to the site, one of the things you can do is you can browse, and you can try out different teachers' courses by watching a single free episode from their 15 to 20 episode course.
Okay.
And you can also watch little promotional videos where the teacher talks about what it's like for them to be a teacher, what they try to emphasize in their course in order to help learners. From that browse experience, then you can go ahead and purchase the course for $49. Then you've got that course for the next 12 months. You can watch it at your leisure, 24/7. You can rewind and watch parts over and over as much as you can until you get all the learning you need. There's also downloadable, what we call bonus materials, to help you take back to your high school class or to have right next to you while you're studying for that exam, and to follow along with the teacher as they're doing their videos. And the videos also include links out to other useful sites. So it's a really great, rich multimedia learning experience, and we encourage everybody to come take a look and buy what they see that will most help them.
Very cool. Well, and where do you hang out on the forums and help people out, or if they have any questions, or do you hang out on Twitter or anything else, any other place like that?
Me personally, I find my time hanging out just at the office, getting a lot of work done lately. But we do have some people in the company who are interacting with students. That's part of their job. And one of the things that we really want to build is a place for our students and teachers and other like-minded people to interact with one another. And we think that's how this community will be built.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure.